Good evening, everyone. We have been in a work and executive session, and so now we are going to reconvene to our 7 p.m. regular session, and we are going to open it with the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so I think we have approval of past minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any commentary? Seeing none, Mr. Bevan, please call the roll.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Gavin?
Yes.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
5-0.
All right, so we are on to agenda item number 5, superintendent presentations. Dr. Cooper?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Orr. We have 3 superintendent presentations tonight. It's weird. It's one of those nights we don't have a state championship team here. But next time we'll have a state championship team here. But we're just so just fortunate to have that as such a regular that we're always packed in here. But tonight, each month, for those of you that are tuning in out there, we have the we call it the wayfinding videos, Mesa Momentum wayfinding videos. And the reason that we do these is for our families and our community to connect in with Mason in a unique and intimate way so they can see what's going on and understand some of the people and the stories that happen inside the district. So I'll turn it over to Tracy to talk about our above and beyond bus driver.
At Mason City Schools, our people are the difference, and no one exemplifies comic culture and a spirit of unreasonable hospitality quite like Mason bus driver Dan Schallenberger. During the biggest snowstorm in over a decade, when most of us were staying warm indoors, Mr. Dan spent his snow day shoveling bus stops to make sure his students and their families could safely navigate their mornings. That's not part of his job description, but it says everything about who Dan is. Whether it's attending his students' concerts, celebrating their birthdays, or even helping arrange tutoring for a student who may be struggling, Mr. Dan's care and dedication go far beyond driving a bus. He's a role model, a champion for kids, and a shining example of what it means to live out comic culture every day. Dan shows us that it's not about what we do, it's about the heart we bring to everything we do.
For me, it's all about building relationships. I love to build those relationships and see them grow, see them flourish. If there's anything I can do that will help make any of my kids make their day better, make them happier, make them safer.
He just cares for everyone. And like on everybody's birthday, he always remembers to celebrate it, no matter if it's on somebody else's or if it was even on the weekend.
Like on Christmas, he celebrates and we get to see his elf on the bus, and he decorates his bus for Halloween.
This snow day, or this snowstorm in particular that just came around. I also know where my students' bus stops are, and I know how they get in and out, and when the plows come through and the sidewalks are full and all the curbs are blocked by these berms of snow that they have to walk in the street, they have to stand in the street. And I didn't want them to have to do that. So I get around towards the end of my route, and I stop and I pull up and I start clearing out the lane up to the sidewalk, and one of the moms, Mrs. Cantor, she was already out there shoveling her sidewalk. And so we started talking and said, well, let's meet in the middle. And the kids all came out, they were playing in the basement, they all came out, they walked over to someone else's house. So I was able to see the kids and say hi.
All I see is a car pull up and a guy get out of the car with a shovel. And so he shouts from the end of the block, meet you halfway. And as we start shoveling and getting closer, I go, is that Mr. Dan, the bus driver? And sure enough it was. And he was actually going around the entire neighborhood shoveling every single stop so that the kids would have a safe place to stand for the bus the next morning.
As kids, we really like snow days, just because we get school off and we get to play in the snow the entire day.
As a parent and a parent who works full-time from home, snow days are very challenging. outside who was helping my husband in his shovel. It was, very, very appreciated, and just, it was really special.
It feels like a blessing to be able to see these kids, to be able to meet these families, to be a part of their day. You hear a lot that the bus driver is the first person they see and the last person they see related to school during the day. And I just want that experience to be special. And it isn't special just for them, it's special for me too. Just getting to see them smile and laugh, cheering someone up, playing games, learning together and growing together, seeing them over time, seeing them grow and change, seeing their family grow and change. It's a blessing for me as well.
That's great. That's great.
Well, let's give Dan a hand. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Tracy. That was great. Dan, the bus driver, is truly a blessing to our district as well. And so if you see any of our bus drivers out there, please make sure you thank them. And if you see Dan out there, give him a high five for just his above and beyond work. And thanks for sharing that story. I remember that snow. It's good to know that there are some kids that really like those snow days, and then there are another big group of people out there, parents, that are ready for us to have their kids back in.
Just
Always a good
not
reminder.
snow days right after breaks. Like, if we could put them in different places, that would, if you know anybody who knows that,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
mid-February might be a different timing than
Exactly.
right after break. All right, I'm going to transition over to the podium for our second presentation, if you have that pulled up. Right, it's this time of the year that we just like to press pause, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to do a tour throughout the community and share just an update on where we are, state of the schools, and we'll go through this pretty quickly. Most of you know this very well, and you've been a part of this, and you've heard some pieces of this in Sean's 5-year forecast as well. But I'll go ahead and run through that today so that folks that might be listening just can get an update on some of the great things that are happening throughout our district. Our executive team just recently sat down and did a reflection on the things that have happened since June. And the list just went on and on and on. And I won't go through the whole list today. I shared some of that with the board during our work session earlier, but we're just really fortunate to be in a place where we continue to move and we build momentum based on the support of our board and the great leadership here and the staff that we get to serve our community. So Jason, you can continue to move on. Just a quick reminder for those that may not know, this is on our website, but I do encourage people to look at this closely. This is a priorities list for our Journey to 2030. It's work that connects directly in with our OKRs, Objectives and Key Results, which is kind of our operating system as a business. You can see on the left side, just to orient yourself to this document, you have our vision, our mission, our foundational values, our portrait of a comet. These are things that we talk about often, if not daily, multiple times a day, and we make decisions through this lens. It's really important work. So please take some time to look through this, and this is something that our community has built together. So it's not something that we came up with, but we brought our whole community together through that community source process to create this. There are these 3 priority areas, four. The purposeful learning is our first one, so we'll go into our purposeful learning. Just a couple of reminders. The first is we're really fortunate to be able to have a 5-star on the report card. We don't use the state report card as our ultimate success measure, but it is always good, and it verifies some of the great things that are happening here, and we're fortunate to be able to continue to perform at those levels on a state assessment. Here are some things that we do love to share with everybody, and I think I can read those from here, and hopefully you can see those at home as well. But 73 students of our class of 2024 recognized by the College Board for National Merit finalists. I have colleagues from around the state that are just so excited to have 2, 3, 4, and we're fortunate to have 73 students that were recognized by College Board. We are just blessed to serve in a place with great families, great students, and staff. 341 diplomas with our honors graduates. Many of these students in our high school are taking advantage of the 25 different AP courses that we do offer. We do have extraordinary offerings at our high school. The AP courses don't even touch some of the student-run businesses that go on in our school with our student-run bank, Comet Zone, and coffee shop, and many others. There are 1,325 students that took one or more of the AP courses. We do try to encourage our students to try an AP course through their time here. 85% of our AP tests that are taken earned a 3 or higher. 556 students were recognized as AP scholars in our district. 197 AP scholars, 256 AP scholars with distinction, 102 AP scholars with honors, and 1 AP International Diploma. So we are very fortunate. Those are just some of the numbers to break down where our academic achievements are. 99.8% of our students have met the third grade guarantee, fortunately because of the great teaching that's happening in our classrooms and the reading support for our students. My Mason Journey there at the bottom, this is an exciting thing. It's a new course that we started this year. We were fortunate to work with creative, innovative people. We had a problem we wanted to solve. We worked with our teachers and said, we want to bring our class size down. Our board has supported that process ever since I became superintendent to continue to draw the class size down. And our staff brought up, well, what about the class size in our specials courses? So we looked at it and said, well, what could we do? And what's something that would align with that document I showed you earlier? My Mason Journey courses are courses that are new as a specials class that allowed us to bring our class size down, but allows us to teach purposeful learning into place, those enduring human skills that are the skills of the future that we think all of our students need to be equipped with to go out and be successful in our world. So we teach our portrait of a comet skills there. We talk about how to be a citizen with integrity, how to be someone that is able to persevere through challenges, and what do they do when they run into things and have to start over. So it's a great course, great people leading that work, and we'll highlight some of that later this year, hopefully in here as well. Here's just a picture of a vision. If you hit the clicker one more time, it should bring up these two boxes are things that we have. So Comet Welcome Day is something that we do have in the district right now. That's a COVID keep that we kept from there, and it was great. We bring all of our families together on that first day of school, small groups, meet your teacher, get along, and start to set some goals. We also have personal learning days. On the new calendars coming up in the next 2 years, we have 4 personal learning days, and we have engaged our community in community conversations just recently at our different building community conversations to ask our parents, what do they want these personal learning days to look like? What's practical? What's realistic for them? But it's also something that can be magnificent for our students. And so we've talked with our teachers a little bit about that. We've talked with our staff, or our parents about that. And I've even had our student leadership teams come around and say, what could this look like? So here's a little bit of a vision that I'll just put out there, and then we'll move on and we'll come back to this. But you could imagine the idea that we have this Comet Welcome Day. This student-led conference concept could be something in the future. I know we have teacher-led conferences, and that works out great, and it's a parent-teacher conference. But having students a part of that process, some teachers do that already, where their students are looking at their data and setting goals around that and being a part of that process. That could also then lead into what are they doing during their personal learning days, where they've set some goals and they're working on some of those goals during their personal learning days, while our staff is here doing professional learning here at in the school. So excited about that. And then we would put something in place like some celebration days toward the end where we could celebrate that demonstration of learning. So just planting that seed. How will we do it? Down there on the bottom, those universal learning experiences is a system we've already built to move forward on some of that work. Next priority is meaningful experiences. So meaningful experiences, all kinds of things to celebrate meaningful experiences. One of the big ones that you were a part of was the ribbon cutting. We talked a lot about the Dream Center. The Dream Center was something in the making for the last 10 years or so. We've been talking about it, and we were able to open those debt-free and have a Dream Center in every building, and thanks to the support of our board and our community and our financial planning. You can see the Dream Centers in action. They are busy, just with great things going on every day. This is just one day. I took pictures one day just last week where you can see students engaged there. You can see business partners mentoring kids from different businesses around the area. There's so many great things happening in our Dream Center, so it's where dreams really do become realities. Now, this debt-free facilities project that you all supported along the way, it wasn't just Dream Centers, but it was classrooms to take class sizes down. And so we were able to open all those classrooms and take our class sizes down. One of the goals when I first sat with the board 7 years ago was, could we get our class sizes down to a certain level? And I said, well, it'll take us a few years to do that. We're on track to get that early. So we are right on track to deliver on that. So excited, and we can look at that data offline. Dream Centers, there's a lot of things that happen in the Dream Centers, but you can move on to, because I could spend all day on Dream Centers. The next one here, extracurricular activities. One of the things that we know is important to the well-being of our students is they're connected in our community and that they are doing things that are purposeful to them. And so we've talked about Project 100, having 100% of our kids engage in something purposeful they love and that they can show what they're doing. So we invest as a board, thank you, $5 million just in all those extracurricular activities, with 200 plus clubs accessible to all of our kids. Those extraordinary experiences, anything from baking cupcakes to talking about aerophysics to talking about what they're doing with these state championship running teams. I mean, there's so many different things that our kids do and have access to. We're just very fortunate here. 2 national championships for our Science Olympiad group in the last 4 years. When Science Olympiad shows up and they have Mason shirts on, I think people don't really love that because they are just go-getter kids, and they go after that. 11 Bands of America national finalists. So our bands, our marching band, you've heard them out there. They practice hard and they perform well. And 17 straight GMC all sports trophies. So we entered the GMC, the Greater Miami Conference, 17 years ago, and our school has captured the all GMC trophy 17 years in a row. So congratulations to all of our coaches and our athletic department. That is impressive. In the past 5 years, 12 teams and 22 individuals have won state championships, including our girls tennis team that has 8 championships in a row. They're going to go for 9 in this next year, which would be the all-time history-breaking moment. So we'll see how that goes. If you remember, they were just here not too long ago, and if you remember, I think they might have 1 junior, no seniors, and I think if I had that right, I was just trying to pay attention. So a lot of returning kids. And then 5 Ohio champ Comet, Comet Ultimate Frisbee in 8 years. What is this? 5 Ohio champ Comets Ultimate in, the Ultimate Frisbee in the past 8 years, and then 4 straight. So if you've also had those folks here, and I can't remember, Ian, that's in the spring, right, that they do this state championship for these guys, I think?
It's in the spring, but there's also a fall that they've just,
Co-ed in the fall.
Co-ed in the fall.
And they've
That's
won,
right.
there's been twice, and they've won both of those
That's right.
championships.
They win so many, it's just hard for me to keep track, but I knew you
Totally
have someone
understand.
invested there. Connected community. So we do value this connected community, and it is something that helps us to continue to move the work forward. We can't do it without our community. That's just how we thrive. So some of the ways that we do that, we do community conversations, and you've heard me talk about that a lot. We do that in several different formats. It's something we believe in and we try to live out. So you can see these are some of the pictures of people coming together to build the document that's there at the top left corner. Those are some folks in a picture there at the top. It's funny, that picture is at one of our local coffee shops. So we go to local coffee shops in the morning for brewing up conversations, and then we go to local breweries in the evening to meet with our public. This place specifically is a great establishment right down the road, but we always picked the Monday morning when they had a music group meeting in the next room over, and they're playing the accordions and polka, not polka music, but yeah, it's some kind of music in there. It's very loud, and we had a hard time hearing each other over the accordion. So we've moved that, but it is a great place, and we'll go back to that, but our timing was a little off. But we do love the community input, and we do value that as we move forward. We do have a beautifully diverse community. 46% of our students speak multiple languages. I mean, that is a gift in itself. It also is a big responsibility and a challenge when many kids are speaking different languages in your classroom. And how do we address it and how we do that well and make sure that everybody feels that they have access to everything and supporting our teachers in that process. So we have been working hard on building the right supports for our EL students, our EL families, to make sure that there is a welcoming feel, but also that our staff has the support they need to continue to meet each and every Comet's needs. You can see here, 2016, just over a handful of years, we've doubled in our number of EL families and our population, our students that we're serving. And what's unique here that's different than many other places is I have colleagues around the country that have maybe many more numbers of EL students speaking one language, maybe like Spanish and English. We have 100 languages and 100 different countries represented here, which is a little unique, and it's hard to find a cohort of friends out there that have that same thing. So we've been working hard with our staff to do that well. We've also tried some new communication techniques to make sure we're reaching our families. So Tracy and her team out of the Public Information Office and the support of Christine and her team, we have pushed out something called Talking Points. It's a text message that actually translates into all the different languages. And so families can read it in their native language so they get the important information, they know where to be and what's going on in our district. So thank you for rolling that out. And it's been proven to work. Brought people to our last community conversation and they received that. Okay, legacy investment, our final piece here. This is important to our future. If we're going to continue to be a destination district, we need to make sure that we're investing wisely in our future. And so we have multiple strategies that are built just around legacy investment. If you go back a little bit and you look at our operating levy passed in 2005, and I'll go through these quickly because Sean hit a lot of these in his 5-year forecast, but the operating levy didn't pass in 2010. We had to make some significant structure changes to the district. We've talked about that before. Came back in 2020 when we needed that again, and we were able to deliver on the promise of class size, safety, security, mental wellness support, and EL support for our staff and our students. And so that's thanks to our community for passing that in 2020 with flying colors. We said we would have a 5-year commitment to this last levy that passed in 2020. It is 2025, if you're paying attention. That's been 5 years. We are happy to say that we are pushing well past that through some strategic decisions and some work on some other financial pieces that we've been able to do along the way, and sale of a property and some other things. We've been able to move forward with some debt-free projects, and we're pushing that levy conversation out further into the future. So we are passing that 5-year mark and excited to announce that. Property values did go up in Warren County and across the state. If you did not know that they did. And we are grateful that here in Mason, we are not on the 20 mil floor. If you want to talk more about what that means, Sean Bevan and I can try to translate that. No, we can meet with you at any time to talk about school funding. We're happy to call us anytime, but Sean is the expert in that. But because we are not on the 20 mil floor, the impact for our families here at Mason City Schools was less than many families across the state of Ohio. So that's the good news for Mason families. What that means, yes, go past that. Journey to 2030, so where are we going? Journey to 2030. We have a futures team that's going to be meeting coming up soon in February to just talk about not just 2030, but beyond. What does it look like to move beyond even 2030 and start to look through, are we moving at the pace where we're delivering the things that we say we're going to deliver to our folks, and the expectation, that moonshot concept into the future. Some key budget factors that we'll need to pay attention to is Mason quality and delivering EL service as well. New collective bargaining agreement that we just certified just over this past summer. That's a 3-year commitment. We also have the anticipated utility costs are going up like everything else in the world. And then we are pretty convinced that there is flat funding at the state level. We'll continue to watch that closely. But with all of that and all those constraints and those challenges, we continue to deliver top-tier quality for our staff and our performance. So you can see here, if you look at the niche report in this area, we're very fortunate to deliver an A+ with the niche report. It looks at many different factors at schools, and so we're just grateful to be in that top tier. We also, when we look at staffing as a thing that we're watching closely in legacy investment, you can see the certified staff years of experience. It's a big portion of our folks are looking at, they're very seasoned, looking at retirement, and 30% of our folks, or roughly 30% of our folks in the next 10 years are looking to retire. And the retirement system has changed a little bit, so more and more people are looking at that. And we have some strategies around how to preserve high-quality instructional leaders in our district while continuing to watch our financial situation as well. You can see here, as we look to where do we fall in the market, which is really important to us. These are really high-performing school districts that we are in our region that we are constantly comparing and looking at. You can see where we fall. Back in 2014, we were sitting kind of at 4th in our salaries, and we were able to move forward in that, and we continue to move up with the new agreement. So we continue to have a competitive edge when it comes to compensation so that we can continue to attract the very, very best talent. When you hear people talking about a teacher shortage and a talent shortage out there, we don't want to be the last ones figuring that out. So we appreciate the board's support on that and our community support to continue to deliver a competitive situation for recruiting the best talent. You can see here just average wages. I think Sean went over this in our 5-year forecast, and also some historic projections for utility costs that they continue to go up. And this chart that's always just good to remind us that our funding from the state levels in 2015 are about the same projected in 2029. So flat funding, that means the burden for taxpayers and community is continually being something that we'll have to watch closely, and we'll have to be just good stewards of the money that we do have, because we don't anticipate getting more from the state level at this time. I think I mentioned this earlier, 30% of our folks are looking to retire. We're excited for them, but we don't want folks to leave so soon. So we're looking at some different possibilities to keep our staff a little bit longer and continue that legacy work. And we are fortunate, as I mentioned earlier in the niche report, back in 2020, we were ranked number 5 in the state, and now we're sitting at number 2. You know, I'll just say there's all kinds of rankings out there. There's all kinds of ways to look at it. We're just fortunate to be in the ballpark of in the top 10 with these really strong districts from around here. And I'll be honest, we don't spend a lot of time looking at that. What we spend time doing is the things that we believe in, the things that our community tells us to do, the things that our community has given us as kind of their charge to make sure that we're delivering Mason quality, and we'll continue to do that into the future. Any questions before I move? Okay.
I had a quick request. Could you go back to the slide with the 2 pie charts showing our staff's? Yeah, that one. That's great. So I think the font there is a little hard for maybe some of us to read, but could you just kind of slowly walk through what we're looking at here and what these bigger swaths on the chart show?
Yeah, so on this, my left, as I'm looking at the screen, you see certified staff years of experience. So these are the years of experience that staff has been here, and if you look at the darker blue there that the cursor is on, you have 16 to 20 years of experience. Moving a little bit to the left up is 15, or 20 to 25 years of experience, and 26 to 30 years of experience, and then 31 to 35 years of experience. So all of those right there are within the next 10 years eligible for retirement just based on experience. And the way that our salary structures are in Ohio for staffing, the more experience you have, the more you move up on the salary scale as well. So if you're looking at recruiting strategies, if this is the large population that's going to be looking at the next 10 years of retirement, and our enrollment right now is flattening out, that's something that helps us with projections out in the future, and what are we looking for, and what kind of staffing models should we look at. The right side of the chart here is certified staff levels of education. So not only do we have a very seasoned staff in terms of experience, but we also have a staff that is, I think it's 62% of our staff are sitting there at the very top levels of education at a master's plus 30. So that's a master's degree plus 30 hours of continuing education. And those are the formal education pieces. Our staff continues to do ongoing learning every year with our professional development. So it's a very educated and very seasoned staff that we have here. So when you're looking at a school district and you're looking at the rankings and all the different pieces, what people need to know is they're coming here and they're bringing their kids to not only a safe place and a great place but it's a place that has experienced, well-educated staff members.
And can you go back to the chart that had the kind of the trajectory, the one that followed the 2 pie chart?
Yes.
Yep, there you are.
So these are the school districts in the area. When we go to look at we're specifically looking at how do we build compensation packages for anyone in our district, whether it's our certified staff here in this case or classified staff, bus drivers. We try to build a market study, and the market study just says who are the folks in this market that we would be recruiting the talent and fighting for the talent, and then where do we want to be in that. And you can see here that we have been very strategic of moving forward and making sure that we are at that top level of competition. In this case, in the top 3, we're always trying to be in that top 5 in that top tier, and so this continues to keep us there. And this is projected out to 2024. I think the chart actually goes up and puts us at the top of that level, I think, for at least a moment, if I don't
Number two.
So
when we, yeah.
for those at home that maybe haven't caught the correlation, the top of that slide says max salary for MA plus 30. So if you go back a slide to the pie chart, on the right side, you're looking at that 60.2 slice, that big green slice. Those are the educators that are on that scale. So that scale isn't per se for the whole slice of it's not for the whole pie, but it is for that 60% of the pie.
It's a great point. And the reason we chose that as our measure is because that's the majority of our staff.
Correct.
So thank you for pointing that out.
And if you go to that next chart again, I think that it speaks volumes to the value that this community places on experience and education, that going back, before this board,
Very much so.
several boards back, you can see the steady trajectory up, even when some of the other districts have flattened out at times, that a continued investment in attracting and retaining
And compensating.
and compensating, right, and just the value that the community has put in ever since that, what's the earliest, 2014 on this chart, and that's something that I think people do seek out when they come to Mason. They see the investment that is being made into the staff, and appreciate like you said, Jonathan, all the numbers, all the test scores, things reflect the great teaching that goes on in the classrooms, and that's because you're coming here and you want people that are not necessarily, so they're not their first rodeo.
Yeah, you're right. And when people come here as a destination district, they're grateful. They also have very high expectations, and we're fortunate, as you can see in the data, to deliver on those expectations. But yeah.
Do we know how many of that MA plus 30 cohort has never taught anywhere else but Mason?
That's a great question. I don't know the percent off the top, but there are because of the nature of the district, and you look back in history, because the district grew so quickly in the 2000s, they were hiring, I don't know, what was it, probably the top end hiring? Do you remember?
Our number one year was 73 new teachers in 1 year.
So when you're bringing 73 teachers on at a time, a lot of folks have been here their whole entire career. They're Mason through and through because we grew so fast. We were hiring a lot at a time. Just imagine 73 new people every year. Some of you have witnessed this and seen this.
There were a few years in a row that we were hanging around that number too. Couldn't go fast enough.
Yeah, with that and building buildings at the same pace, you did well. You did well.
But you know what? We did pretty well choosing the folks that we chose.
Yeah.
We have one member of our teaching staff that I welcome at every meeting. But there are a lot of people who've spent their entire career here, and they wouldn't stay. Not that number of them would not stay if they weren't feeling supported by the community. And that's how we pulled this off.
Yeah, and when you look at our just turnover in general, the number is 1 to 2%, which is good. We retain our staff, and we're fortunate, and that's why you'll hear us talk a lot about the legacy investment, because legacy work we heard it from our staff clearly. Last year I did a tour around the buildings, and we talked about this coming up, because we were looking at the data and said we need to get this out to the staff so they know what's coming. And that was something we heard over and over, is just the importance of legacy moving forward, and how do we continue to deliver on that and honor the history that's here, and then continue to move forward. So we're working hard on.
Jonathan, this isn't a question, but just a comment. I really appreciate the kind of historical and forward-looking perspective of the state of schools, because it's not just a current snapshot, because it's really helpful to see where we've been, the investments we've made that have led us to today, but also to your point that we're not standing pat, that we see this massive cohort of excellent teachers who are great for them, going to be able to earn their retirement at some point in the near future, and we want to carry on that legacy, and we have to do that that. We have to work on that now. So it's really appreciate that holistic view. And I appreciate too that this is your how many times have you done this kind of dog and pony show? That you've been around a few groups in town. So you've shared this with a lot of different kind of key players and groups in the city and in the district. So we appreciate that as well.
We've got a couple more that we're heading out to Rotary. We've been to Kiwanis. We're heading out to the Mason
Christian Village.
and some others. And people, they love to hear the story because they take pride in it's their community. It's their school. So we're fortunate to be able to deliver on that.
I think it's safe to say the state of the schools is strong. The only question, and I think we can get you out here on this, biggest opportunity we want to capitalize on and potential challenges on the horizon.
Yeah, biggest opportunities that our team has been talking a lot about is how do we honor the past and this legacy work and transition well to this next generation of staff and continue to deliver Mason quality with just some of the things that we know are factors. Like we know we have a growing EL population. How do we do that well and make sure we're equipped well to do that? Technology is changing so quickly. So how do we make sure that we have people that are investigating the technology that's out there so that we know what's the right piece to move forward? I mean, today a new AI platform was rolled out just the other day with DeepSeek, and that's a competitor to ChatGPT and all the others. And so we just want to make sure we're delivering on those well, preparing our students for the world beyond Mason. And the way that we hope to do that, address that challenge, is really focusing in on helping our students, and this is our vision, is that making sure each and every student discovers purpose and potential, but really doing that intentionally, having some real strategy around that so kids understand, here's how I find purpose in the things that I'm doing around me, in the world around me, and the people around me, the relationships, and then here's a potential that I'm learning about myself that I bring to that scenario so that I can make an impact. And we're working on that. Not only are we working on that today, but like I said, we have a futures team that's looking beyond 2030 and saying, what do we want to become? And what's the next version of Mason Quality? So that was the first question you had asked.
That was it. That's
Okay.
good. You nailed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome work.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
We'll let Dr. Cooper get settled in, and then we'll do the most awkward thing that we do.
Say, or
in
we can just
January.
move on.
Okay.
A tradition unlike any other.
A tradition like none other. So we have every January, for those of you that might not be tuned into this, it is Board Appreciation Month, and our board is very humble, does not want to be recognized, celebrated, or put on billboards, even though, wait till you see the new billboard we have. No, I'm just kidding. No, and we really do appreciate that because we know that your spirit behind the reason and the purpose that you come to our work is for our kids and for our community, and your heart is clear to us. We've seen that. Our executive team, our staff sees that, and you work hard and behind the scenes. We appreciate the way that you push us to always deliver with excellence, but you also do that in a caring, compassionate way. So we appreciate that. So it is Board Appreciation. So we do have a couple things that we want to share with you. First, I just want to share, you have a gift that's in front of you, and I like to get you a book every year. This year, instead of giving you a book, a longer book to read, this is a book that Dr. Jordan, one of our colleagues, gave to me. She knows I love good picture books I can take to the classroom from time to time. And it's called What the Road Said. And I'll just read you just one little quick snapshot of this. And I love it because it's the bookends of the book. But it said, I said to the road, where do you lead? And the road said, be a leader and find out. And it ends that way as well. But the whole idea is, you stepped into the role of being a board member and you put your name out there and people voted on you, and that's a very vulnerable place to be, and you serve through some really tough times, and we all appreciate that about each of you. And you have families behind you that are supporting you all the way, and so we just recognize all that. And so at this point, we do have a special message for you.
And well, as kids, we might not always say, but we're super thankful learn how to make sure we have awesome teachers, cool spaces, and safe places to learn to play. Thank you so much. That's my dad. He's on the school board. My dad is on the school board. My dad's on the school board too. He always says, try your best even when it's hard. But he kind of doesn't get what being a kid's like and
That's about right.
He also tells us to stop fighting and how it comes to ICRC. We're still working on that teamwork part.
Says he wants to make the school a better place for everyone, which is why I tell him to make homework optional.
Maybe we should take a vote on that one. Seriously, we see all the hard work you guys do across Mason City Schools to make it the best it can be for everyone. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Mason School Board.
Thank you, Mason School Board.
That explains why my seat was all the way up.
So thank you, Mason School Board. I have a fun certificate for you to wrap that up. But we had to sub in some school board members there for a minute, and they did a great
They
job.
were
Thank you, Tracy.
amazing. Did you know about that?
I had
You
no
have
idea. I was out of town when it happened, I think. That
Took
was,
me a minute to even realize that it wasn't just Eden. Those other high school students up there.
listen,
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
they did. They look like she's about to be in high school.
Thank you.
Well, I'm particularly excited about this book because if I'm being honest, this might be the first gifted book from Jonathan that I finish. And I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Or that will not put you to sleep, but someone else.
This is very true.
No, in all seriousness, it is a privilege to not only serve your community, but with these 4 individuals. You get to spend a lot of time together, and you get to have agreements and disagreements and wonderings. And the one thing I know is that every time we are called upon to serve, we do so with care and compassion. And I'm really grateful for the 4 of you and for the team. I think the results and the things that we've been able to do sort of speak for themselves, but there is a gratitude that comes with sitting here and working with all of you. So appreciate the ability to do that, sincerely.
Yeah, and I'll just say, it is very true that we don't like this part because this isn't the nature of the role. Like, we have to sit up front for the meetings, but we are not. We have never proclaimed to be, we will never proclaim to be the anywhere near the top. The word superheroes, this is an OSBA thing.
Yeah,
This is not a district thing, so if you see that word anywhere, that's nobody in the district calling us that. But Jonathan, I appreciate the tone that you said it, about how we take this month. But I also want to take a second and just say that as a leader, it is good to be forced to be humble and to allow you all to show your appreciation for us. And so that oddly is a humbling thing, to know that that we can have that space to do that and to allow you to recognize us. And we appreciate that very much. And if you're gonna, you got me a little bit. That's a little surprising. It was a little tearier than I expected to be. But thank you for doing it that way, because heck, what a reminder of our why. That hits really close to home. And I will just say, Charles, if you're having a hard time remembering what it's like to be a kid as young as you are, I want to ask my kids.
Someone need to cut her mic.
But thank you, Jonathan and Tracy and everybody who put that together.
The first time I saw the oldest child in that video, she was carried in a pumpkin seat by her father.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That was yours.
Oh, yeah, mine, yeah, I know.
Yep.
They grew up quick.
Well, thank you. It's I'm not saying the job's easy, but just the leadership and the community we have, it does make our job easy. A lot easier.
Yeah.
It is an honor to serve in this community, for sure. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, and that's enough of that.
That's enough. You will have
Move
one
on.
other
We got a
gift.
whole year before we have to do that again.
There is one gift in there I will mention that it's really neat. It's part of one of our teachers that is newer to our district, came in last year, and he and his students are working on soldering in that
Wow.
Dream Center. So they've soldered on I believe it glows now.
It does.
Okay, good.
Very much so.
They've soldered on the battery and the lights, and they had that cut. They designed that comet, and they have that cut. So there's a little explanation there and a
Yeah.
QR code to learn more about it, but just so you know.
Dream
it's from-
Center, right?
Yep, it's from our students
Very cool.
right here in the high school.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We will move on to agenda item number 6, hearing of the public. Tracy,
Nothing tonight.
thank you so much. That allows us to go to our second reading for agenda number 7, policy change recommendations. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any commentary before we vote?
Yeah, this is our second reading. We have a first reading in December. Second reading is now, before that, there's a policy committee that meets on this and reviews everything. Before that, our executive team meets. We did update a word because we had a double word in there, so thank you for catching that today. So one of the policies had just a word, a misprint, and so we were able to correct that today and move forward. But it's a second reading. Besides that, I don't think anyone's come forward with any questions this time, but if anybody does have questions at any point in time, please let us know.
And just for clarity, it was the same word twice. We
Same
didn't,
word
We
twice.
didn't switch may to shall or shall to
No,
may.
no, no. Thank you for the clarification. We actually had the same word twice. It didn't change the meaning or purpose, but it did need to be corrected.
Any further commentary? Seeing none, Mr. Bevan?
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Gavin?
Yes.
Mrs. Bacci?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
5-0.
On to agenda item number 8, superintendent recommendation personnel items. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Jonathan, I think you want to talk to us a little bit.
Yeah. So this is an exciting night because we do get to invite a new member. So for recommendation tonight, you'll see Dr. Laura Blessing, who here in a moment, we'll have a second to meet Dr. Blessing, but she's up for recommendation tonight to move into our Chief Talent Officer role. We had a very competitive process and an amazing pool of people that were a part of that process, and so we're just grateful to have a good pool of people wanting to be here, and so we're also very grateful to welcome Dr. Blessing and her family to Mason City Schools, and again, we'll meet her in just a moment, so you'll see that on the agenda this evening. You also see more substitute teachers coming on. We have I just love seeing this. We have so many substitute teachers coming here, signing up, and at one point in time, I just remember begging for substitute teachers, and so we're just grateful that we have that. And part of our legacy investment is looking at how are we making sure all of our substitute teachers have even additional training and learning opportunities, because that's something that they've asked for as well. As you scroll down in the personnel items, a couple other things I just want to highlight. You have some interpreters on here, so you'll see some of that coming up on here, but we also have retirements, and each month I feel like we just have legacy. I think, Ian, you said there were legacy builders, legacy leaders. You'll see some others on here with Lori Turner and Mary Lee Venemeyer, just people that have been a part of things like the Cosmic Cafe and starting our own student-led cafe here at the high school, and Mary Lee Venemeyer and just the Venemeyers and what they have, the influence and impact that they've had in our district well beyond the classroom. I mean, they give so much time beyond the classroom just to support our kids in their development, whether it's drama club and all the things going on there, and it's sad to see them. I'm excited for them. We are excited that they've invested here, but these are just players that have made such a big impact in our legacy here. And you'll see others that come up later up for retirement as well that are in that same boat. I think the only other thing that I'll highlight on our personnel tonight is we do have, toward the bottom you'll see we have marching band. They're gearing up for their next season, so you'll see a lot of the updates there as they get ready to launch. I think they'll do all their planning, their choreography planning, and some of their kind of dreaming up of what their next show is going to be. So you'll see some of that show up here, and that shows up in section AF. And as you saw earlier on our slide, they have, last year I think they came in 6th place in the country, and so they're continuing to try to land in that same zone. I think that's all for tonight that I'll highlight, and I think we've talked about some other items on here, but those are the main ones.
Excited for what is to come. So, any more commentary?
Well, do you want, is that just for item, are you voting for item A first, or do you want me to go through all of the?
We can vote for item A if you'd like, and then we can vote for the rest, if that's what
Do
you.
you want to speak to the rest? Or
Yeah, just let me just mention a couple things, Suresh, and then when we
Sure.
vote, and then we'll get, so the salary adjustment on here, I just want to mention that on item B. This is a piece that Sean and I have been working on. Just, we have a new data person that was actually on the agenda tonight. And that is something we have needed sorely. And Christine McCormick has done a great job bringing people to the table. So it's going to be a data systems coordinator. Did I get that right? And so this is a new salary schedule that builds for that role, because it's a brand new role. So we had to get that in here. And then the last item on here is a resolution for retire rehire, specifically for a bus driver who is going through the retire rehire process. There are about 3 steps. Is that right, Sean, for the retire rehire? And this is just one of those steps that you're approving tonight. Thanks for letting me go through that. I just didn't want to jump ahead.
Of course. No, for item B, I remember when I got elected and I got to sit down, and so to have 3 years later, we're able to move forward with this is fantastic. Being able to mine our own data and analyze trends is going to help us continue on the journey of personalization and understanding how to deliver Mason quality to each and every student. So I'm really excited that we've been able to deliver on that. So thank you guys.
with a dedicated internal resource.
Correct.
I think will be a game changer. So we're excited about
We
that.
tried to outsource a few different things. Christine's tried to run circles around it. We've tried a lot of things, and then we said, this is time for us to move forward. And you're right, that was one of the first things that you had talked about. And so Scott King is coming on, and we're excited next week, and he'll be busy,
Excited.
which is great.
Christine has been like that meme of Spider-Man, like holding the train from falling off, and we are so appreciative of the work you do and
Absolutely.
and to synthesize all that data for us, because it helps inform a lot of our decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Exciting. Mr. Bevan, please call the roll.
Mrs. Yingling,
Yes.
Mr. Galvin,
Yes.
Mrs. Batching,
Yes.
Mr. Orr,
Yes.
Mr. Steele,
Yes.
5-0.
And before we go on, do you mind if I
Please.
just invite? Okay,
Please.
Dr. Blessing, if you
Blessing.
don't mind, now that we have moved forward on that, would invite you to say a few words and meet the board.
Dr. Blessing, there have been times where we've had somebody talk before we vote, so I'm glad that we made the switch. And not that there is any worry, but I'm glad we do it.
I appreciate
in this
that.
order.
That's, if I stumble, it'll be good, right?
No pressure at all.
Well, good evening. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I'm honored. I'm grateful. Thank you, the board. As a 30-year educator, I do understand your role, and I know how important it is for the school system and for the students, staff, the families, the administration to have your support, your trust, your leadership. So it's much appreciated. So every month, I hope you get a thank you from somebody, because we all have tough jobs. So I appreciate all of the work that you do, and you have a wonderful executive team, and I'm so excited to be joining Dr. Cooper and the executive team. I appreciate this opportunity. As I said, I've been an educator for 30 years. I've been a superintendent for the past 12. 5 of them have been in Miamisburg. 7 were in a small district in Indiana. So it's exciting to join a team and a community where I can focus all my energies and hopefully a lot of knowledge in one area, and just be a great resource, not only for our staff, our new hires, our current staff, all of you and our families and students, because at the end of the day, it's all about what we do for kids. So I'm just extremely excited for this. I am very fortunate because I have 2 educators in my family who I brought along with me this evening. My husband is a high school teacher, and my son-in-law is a 5th grade teacher. So Todd and Jimmy accompanied me. I do have 2 daughters, but they're busy like living their life in non-education roles, which we're proud of. But one is in Florida. So if you need any Disney advice, we have a resident Disney employee, so we're super proud of her. And then we have Jimmy's wife, which is my daughter Alexa. She's about to be a doctor, so we're very excited, but she's traveling in Kentucky doing some residency rotation tryouts. So, but she's going to be home tomorrow evening, so we're excited to see her. She's been on the road about 2 months. So, like I said, appreciate this opportunity. Looking forward to working with Tanya in the transition and ready to hit the ground rolling. So thank you for this. I'm just honored in this, just your faith and trust in me that I'm going to be a part of this great team and this great community, so thank you.
Of course.
Well, welcome.
We already see that the family is dressing the part. We see a nice comic green. We really appreciate that. We do love our greens here in Comic Country. But no, I think it's worth noting that Dr. Cooper now has 2 former superintendents on his staff, which speaks volumes to not only the place but the person. So to be able to have that level and depth of talent or surrounding you that you can draw from just makes us a stronger district. And so great job, team, on landing Dr. Blessing. We're excited to have her begin that journey of making that role hers from Tanya McCall. So
My mentors always said, put smarter people around you, and I have done that with my team all around me. So I am lucky to serve with these folks.
Indeed, we are all made better for it. So, agenda item number 9, superintendent's recommendations, action items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commentary.
Okay, quickly run through the items here. We have second reading and approval of new course proposals. Amy and her team have done a wonderful job of bringing new courses each and every year through a very thoughtful process. Dr. Brennan, I think that was in maybe December. Am I making that up? Maybe November?
Our November Student Achievement Committee
Thank you.
meeting, and then it was on our December board agenda for first reading.
Thank you. So it's been through those too. So you'll see 3 courses on here: American Sign Language, AP Environmental Science, super excited, and Cybersecurity Pathways continue to grow. So these are great options that kids are going to love. We have a wait list on cybersecurity, American Sign Language, and so, and I think environmental science course will be the same. So thank you, Dr. Brennan, for bringing those forward, and this will be our second reading and vote. And OSBA membership, each year we have OSBA membership. They provide help as support for our policy reviews and recommendations, as well as membership to be a part of just the conference and what we do there. The C is exciting. We've talked about Project 100, connecting 100% of our kids. Flag Football Fanatics is a group that we have worked with. Sean and our Brandon Rompies, who was appointed as the Associate Principal of Student Life, really wanted to move forward with intramurals. We've been talking about it for a few years, and so this will be a first run at that, and we will have boys 9 and 10 and 11-12 team and a girls 9 and 10 and 11-12 team, and they will play under the lights here on Wednesday nights, and I think this will be really popular coming up. So we're excited about that. So if you didn't know that out there, start getting your teams together for the flag football here at Mason City Schools under the lights. And then finally, our 2025 graduation ceremony at Cintas Center, just finalizing the agreement there and getting that off so that we are ready for our 9 a.m. graduation. So it'll be get your breakfast and your coffee early, and we'll have you out by lunch.
Brunch. We're gonna brunch after that one. That flag football is exciting. That is just execution on a vision right there. I mean, the Project 100 to get everybody involved. That is good stuff. I'm sure that will be a popular thing in the high school. So,
And I have a question on the football. Is that an intramural, Mason teams against Mason teams?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that we had a discussion, would they open it up to surrounding schools? I think we're going to try to just focus on Mason teams first, and then if they need additional spots, then they would open those up.
That's kind of a cool element.
Yeah.
It's really great because I know that the Project 100 isn't just about sports, but when it comes to sports, we're one high school and there are only so many kids who can be on a team, let alone start on a team, right? So really excited about the opportunity for kids to be active, to have fun, to play a sport that might interest them, but not have to have the pressure of making a team if that's not what they aspire to do. So very exciting to see that.
any further commentary? Sean?
I'm still advocating for an equestrian team, just saying.
You know you have an ally in Tracy Carson.
Yes.
She wants, emotional support horses, small ones.
I got you.
It's really good, and we could convert it in an outdoor classroom.
Right?
Right.
I'm on that.
Experiential learning with the cleaning out too.
Cleaning
You
out,
get
stall
the
cleaning.
XLP team in there.
There you go.
And then we have fertilizer for our gardens.
And turning it into fuel. There you go. See, look, this
Okay,
is, we're
sorry.
brainstorming.
Right.
This is good stuff. I love, see, we're collaborating and working together. So, Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
5-0.
We have made it to agenda item number 10, Treasurer's Report. Sean? What? Nope. Do I need a motion? Oh, he's just going to read the report.
Yeah, we do have a few things to approve if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah,
do
no,
them.
please. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Sean, now we can move forward.
Great, thank you. So we just have our financial reports for the month of November, December on here for approval. The December meeting was early in the month, so we've got both of those on here tonight. One of the things I did want to point out in the donations section, you might remember in the first meeting of the month, our wayfinding moment was kind of spotlighting the Community Holiday Help Project that Brian Casey Moran ran and really provided a lot of support for families in the community. I think we reached over 900 students, if I'm correct. Big donation on here to Community Holiday Help. So a big thank you to, they were the ones that spearheaded it, but just obviously a lot of people involved in this project. Tracy was involved in that, TJ, just a lot of people both on staff and volunteers out there that really helped to pull that off. So a big donation on here that was received through December, and then actually we're seeing it come through here this month on our books. But thank you to their team and all the work they put in this year.
That was a wonderful program. Holiday Help, being able to see the photos and the families that they were able to, help in a moment where, we have to be mindful of those that have less yeah, that's exciting. Any other commentary? Seeing none, Sean, please call the roll.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
5-0.
Agenda item number 11, committee reports.
Arts and I can start with arts and
Thanks, Tracy.
activities. We discussed a few kind of procedure questions that our Power of the Pen had about advisors and how to handle if an advisor wasn't able to go to the meet with the students, because Power of the Pen has very stringent requirements of who's been trained and how you have judges and all these things. So we had a good conversation around that. And then we also approved the Edgar Allan Poe posters, which of course our students just had last week. And just a huge credit to our theater department. And I think particularly something that has started there, when we think about inclusive excellence, they've now done many, for the last 2 years worth of plays, having one performance that is American Sign. We have students in our ASL program who will sign that performance. I just think it's such a great move that uses our students' own strengths, what they're learning, and puts it into real practice.
That's good. Thanks, Tracy. Business Advisory Committee.
Yeah, Business Advisory Committee met, and it's always, it's growing. I think more people want to come and see that Dream Center, or maybe it's because we have lunch. I don't know. But anyways, we had a great turnout, great people engaged. 3 student-led businesses were highlighted. We had Cosmic Cafe, the bank, and our Comet Zone, which is our kind of where people buy their Comet gear. And it was great to hear them present on not just what they're doing, but just what they're learning about life. And so that was probably the most encouraging piece, to see our kids growing. And then we talked with, we had an open conversation and feedback, and our folks did a great job. And then Experiential Learning gave a quick update that they're going to they're building a mentorship program and expanding on that. And so more to come in the future.
Really good, well-attended meeting. Diversity Council also met. Tracy?
Yes, we had a really just master class from our English as a second language administrator, Milana Varbanova, who brings such a just incredible depth of knowledge, but also truthfully the experience as an English learner herself who started in our schools from Bulgaria with kids who had not spoken English and went through Mason schools, and then, oh, by the way, went and earned her degrees and her PhD while she was doing that, but really brings such a spirit of how do we make things work well for our kids. And when we know in Mason, just this is the world that attends Mason schools. We're so lucky we have, Jonathan shared that slide in the presentation, but to have over 100 languages from over 100 countries represented in our schools, knowing that not all of our multilingual students need English as a second language programming, but we still are just really, so we got an update on kind of what the difference of those things are, and then also just a little real look at what the program is designed and how much thought has gone into kind of really, there isn't a program you can adopt across the country that looks like ours because of the diversity here. We have so many of our families are coming because they're attracted to Mason schools for the same reasons that these top Fortune 100 companies are moving right here. These are families coming from Festo and P&G and Vega and all these great companies, and so kids are coming in and they've maybe been in schools in Switzerland and then they've spent some time in Japan and now they're coming here, and so that perspective is really great in how we evaluate the needs, but then also knowing that there are demands, and we've certainly met that and grown and learned a little bit along the way of how can we continue to improve our own model so that our classroom teachers are, they're really the ones delivering the work. And that was what Milana also said. She and our ESL team is incredible, but the truth is the growth that we see, and you could see it on our report card and you can see it in the data that we get, that really comes from our incredible classroom teachers who are, those kids are, they're kids in their classrooms and they're doing the work, and so it's a tribute to all the people in the district who are kind of making sure that that our schools are strong.
When you talk about value, you talk about getting probably more than what you pay for, and I think that presentation was an absolute value add. Our investment is really strong in our ELL, and our numbers outperform that investment. And Tracy's right. It's our staff members and our families and our students who work really hard at that every day. We also talked about two really big we had a windows, and go ahead, I'll let you do it. I just wanted to remind you.
You can do it, yes.
Nope, all yours.
Oh, well, we do. Thank you. I can't believe I forgot that. We did a lot in that meeting. We also have our Black History Fest, a Comic Community Mirrors and Windows event coming up in February, February 20, why don't I have it written down, last Thursday in February. Yep. And right now we're looking for, we're gonna once again have our Black-owned business showcase. Dr. Jordan has been already hard at work recruiting a lot of people, but if you know of a Black-owned business that would like to be part of that showcase, we'll look for that, as well as we're gonna have talent, and then many thanks to the Mason Schools Foundation that has underwritten that for us for years. We'll have a free tastings from Divine Cafe there, and then our PTOs have all stepped up to help sponsor the Yellow Band once again, which is so much fun. You will be dancing during Black History Fest. It is a fun party, and then just so much to learn and do and celebrate there. And then our 18th Taste of Mason is coming up, which is really incredible. Really, that just celebrates what we were just talking about, the diversity in our schools, and it also highlights some of the incredible local ethnic restaurants and gives them a chance to. For you to have a delicious bite to eat and then watch some of the incredible talent in our schools. And Taste of Mason this year is March 4th. Yep. Thank you. So looking forward to both of those things. More info to come.
Thank you, Tracy. The Yellow Band featuring our very own Nick Washington. So that's exciting. We're going to leave it with you. Last committee report update, Mason Schools Foundation. Tracy.
one more from Tracy tonight. Apologize for that. The big exciting for us as a foundation, lots of work going on behind the scenes on our nominating committee. If you're ever interested in just really getting involved, rolling up your sleeves and doing good work with some of the hardest working but also smartest people that are just a good team and fun, get involved with our reading challenge, get involved with our gala. Both of those things are coming up and we need you to get involved. Reading challenge is happening right now. If you have MECC, ME, or MI readers, they read a whole lot last week, they earned all that money, now's the time for you to pony up and bring in your checks. So make sure to do that before the end of the week. And then our foundation is really excited to partner with the high school and with the district, as well as the Mason Historical Society, to bring back our Distinguished Alumni Award. Right now, you can nominate someone for that award, and then for the very first time, we have a Young Alum Award, which we're really excited about. So someone who has graduated longer than 5 years, but is under 40, and we know, and we've already been getting some really terrific nominations, but we would love yours. So please consider looking at that. It's on the foundation's website, it's on the district's website, as well as both of our social media.
So to clarify, more than 5 years graduated and under 40 years old, or 5 years graduated to 40 years graduated?
Well, for the young alum,
Yes.
More than 5 years.
more than 5 years graduated from high school, under 40 years old.
Got it, okay.
And then the just distinguished alum, you could, I guess, technically be anything, but you also, if you play older than 40, that would also be a great one to be.
I just wanted to clarify, because I was like, 5 to 40 years graduated, that is an age bracket. So, no, thank you. That's a wonderful update and a wonderful award to bring back.
And one question you asked.
I wanted to clarify. So we'll move on to agenda item number 12, legislative update. So Jonathan will give us our superintendent's legislative update.
Yeah, there's lots that we're paying attention to in Columbus. There's lots of conversation you'll see in the paper, in the media, about fair funding schools. That's a big piece that we've talked a lot about over the past few years. There was a proposal that had, I think it was 3 phases. Is that right, Sean? 3 phases total at one point in time. And we have just heard very clearly that that's not going to continue in its current form. At least that's the message that we're hearing from Columbus. So we have been thoughtful in our budgeting, and Sean's done a great job just being fiscally responsible and not banking on all that, because the honest truth is it's hard to go past the biennium budget and knowing what's real, and those promises are sometimes not always filled. So we'll continue to watch it. We have great relationships with our local legislators, so I'll continue my relationship and conversation with Representative Matthews and Senator Wilson to make sure they understand what our financial situation is here in Mason City Schools and how it impacts our taxpayers, and continue to work towards that. The only other thing I'll mention is there is a bill that did not make it through the first time and the last session, but is being put back this session. Senator Brenner is putting back the concept of MIMPS, which is the Math Improvement Monitoring Plans. So our group is well ahead of those things, and we are monitoring our kiddos for reading and math, but just something to watch, because it's another example where sometimes legislators get out there and they want to tell you how to do these things, and we actually have a lot of those plans in place. So we'll keep our lines of communication open, even with Senator Brenner and folks, and just let them know the great work we're doing here at Mason, so that maybe they'll allow us to just keep doing our work.
Thank you, Jonathan. We have reached item number 13, administrator commentary. Dr. Blessing, next board meeting, you will be down here and sit in that chair, so watch closely as we go around the horn. We'll lead off with Tracy.
I just want to thank you during School Board Appreciation Month, but really it is deserved all the time. There is an enormous amount of work that you are doing behind the scenes, and it isn't for it's not a lot of glory. There's not a lot of thank yous that come. So really, we do so much appreciate and value you. And then just to welcome Laura, to our team. We're thrilled to have you and can't wait to get to work with you. And your family. I love that Todd and Jimmy are in the green. That's so great.
Cheesecake Factory later.
Very good.
Thank you, Tracy. Amy?
Well, I will echo Tracy's and the team's thank you to our board. Thank you for your thoughtful, measured leadership. It really matters, and we so appreciate your support and trust in us. And I think the video, I just loved it. And it was just a great reminder, too, of the sacrifices that you make with your family and the other people who are so important to you. And I know that, Connie and Desiree, you have family members also who are not represented in that video, but it's equally true. And so it means a lot. Thank you for giving that time. Jonathan mentioned during his State of the Schools as one of our great opportunities and challenges was around just all of the emerging technology changes that are happening right now. And I just want to give a quick shout out and acknowledgement to Dan Little, who's a learning experience designer, who has been leading a group of what we're calling our AI Explorers this year. And not just to Dan, but to the over 130 staff members, mostly teachers, who signed up when he just put out a call to say, hey, who's interested in being an AI Explorer and just taking some time to learn more about how generative AI tools can help us be more efficient in what we do, but also to help create even more meaningful learning experiences for students. So to have that large percentage of our staff say, yeah, I'm interested, I want to sign up for that, is amazing. And so Dan's been doing weekly learning drops, he calls them, or emails with resources and challenges and new tools to try that are vetted as safe for students and really potentially helpful for educators and the learning experience. They've helped to inspire me to try out some new tools and share them with others. He's doing monthly connections in buildings, and we actually also have AI adventure guides. So these are teachers who actually signed up and said, I don't want to just be an explorer, but I actually am excited to be able to lead these conversations with other teachers in my building who are helping to guide that. And he now has not just all of our Mason AI adventure guides, but other educators from who knows where, all over the region and probably beyond, who've signed up, who said, I'm curious to get those emails that you're sending out too to help inspire. So Dan's such a great resource and appreciated spirit of innovation, and all of our other AI Explorers. So, and last but certainly not least, welcome to Dr. Blessing. I just feel are so fortunate. I'm avoiding using the word blessing, but it is just really hard. But it truly feels that way. So excited to have you join our team and looking forward to leading and learning with you.
Thank you so much, Amy. Christine?
Don't you want more appreciation?
Yes.
No, there were a couple things you guys mentioned. First, Ian, you had mentioned that you guys approach as a board this job with care and compassion. And there's no doubt about that. And then Desiree, you mentioned it's not easy. But one of the things that I most admire is you also have this humor and this joy of being together and doing a difficult job. And like our team, we get a lot of joy and have a lot of fun while we're doing really hard things. So it's just notable, I think, if the audience, anybody who's watching will pick that up. It's just an energy and something that you feel. It's palpable in a room. So thank you for that, and thank you for sharing that energy and always supporting us 100% of the way, because we do feel your support, and we're so thankful for that. Secondly, I do want to echo Amy's sentiments about Dan. Speaking of energy that's palpable, he is incredible. If you haven't been around him, I encourage you to find him because he will, the way he talks and the intensity and joy and passion that he talks about technology and what's possible, you can go through a brick wall with him because he just convinces you to do that. So we're very blessed. I know. Now it's like, okay, I said it. It's a game. As soon as I said, I went, oh. But no, we're very fortunate. And also, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to have lots of fun and do lots of great hard work together. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you, Christine, for your appreciation and catching the vibes. I'm glad that we are a vibe. We'll go to Todd next.
Again, just want to show our gratitude for all that you do. I don't think people realize that being a board member, there's never really a decision that lands at your level, and with Dr. Cooper, that's just an easy, clear path to the right decision. There's always going to be some who like it, some who don't like it, but it's really a team of one that lives out what they believe in and makes the best decisions they can with the information that they have. So just to realize the job that you do, we're very appreciative. And, you know, for my role, since I've been in Mason, just the support of the way the facilities are and keeping those up there, even with, we have a great curriculum, we want great facilities. It's always been, I was going to say a blessing. It's always been very nice having you feel that way. So thank you. Also, I do want to welcome Dr. Blessing. I know from being in that world, of her, the neighbor of Springboro to Miamisburg, she is very, very highly appreciated there, and I am sure that community, when they find this out, probably not going to like Dr. Cooper very much after that. So we're lucky to get her. But then lastly, Mr. Dan, the school bus driver. You know, I've been here 9 years, and that department by far is at the best place it's ever been. And as Dr. Cooper talked about, the subs coming in, we don't have that worry. We're at the same point with bus drivers right now when other districts are really struggling. And I have to attribute that just to the culture they've built there under Mr. Mersnowski's leadership. It's just a fun place to be. And they always know Mark has their back, and they know people like Dan's always there to help. And it's the great thing about having retired people come in and do some of these jobs. So just to see that and what he does, it just speaks volumes for our classified staff that they are right up at the top of that pendulum, just like the certified staff. So for me, I have a whole lot of gratitude for these folks. They make this job worth doing, that's for certain.
Thank you, Todd. Mr. Bevan.
First of all, thank you to our board. Really appreciate the chance to work with you guys. A very high-functioning team. You guys work hard. You put a lot of time in, obviously time away from your families. So thank you for that. You support Mason quality in every area. You get into the weeds. You see the big picture. You know, I could just go on and on. So thank you for all your support. Welcome, Dr. Blessing and the family. Would be remiss if I didn't mention that. Look forward to working with you. And then last thing I want to mention, thank you to the fiscal office team. Since our December meeting, we learned that we had another clean audit report and a smooth process. So thank you to them for their great work and keeping that tradition going.
I think you got a streak of 100% passage.
We got a great team.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean.
Good.
Dr. Cooper.
Speaking of passing big audits, we had a 5-year audit in the student nutrition area, and Rachel Tilford and her team came out and was successful, flying colors, and it was hard. I mean, it was a big lift, and they did a great job. So congratulations to their team. Also want to, family, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Thanks for going through a rigorous process, and we're excited to get you started. As soon as you are able to do that, we'd love to have you here and get you going. And we'll have some more green for you. I'll get that to you in just a minute, so you can keep adding to the green. We have, we mentioned February 27th, Black History. Please put that on your calendar. It's a great time to be a part of the community. And March 4th. If you haven't been to Taste of Mason, get there early, get a seat, because it's hard to get a seat in there, and you want to see the performances and eat your food. So make sure you put that on your calendar and get there early. Board, thank you. Your spirit, integrity is a word we have in our portrait of a comment. You are all people of integrity, and we deeply appreciate that and your support for us. And we do have fun together, and you get along, but you also push us hard, and we love that here. We are a group that loves to work hard and push for excellence, and so we do love that about you. And I love seeing your kids. they're just so grown up. It's what's amazing about it. And, you know, and I know you both have also had kids here, and so we're just grateful for all of you. I think that's all I have. You've heard enough from me tonight. So, and we have, hey, it's an exciting time to be in Mason. I'll tell you that right now.
Agreed.
We have exciting things on the horizon, exciting legacy work. Stay tuned and pay attention, and make sure you lean in and join us in the efforts.
Hear, hear. Item number 14, board commentary. Mr. Galvin.
Well, welcome, Dr. Blessing and Blessing family. I think what an opportunity had you come along in the NIL era. What possibilities could have existed. People are just tripping over themselves, not, you know, trying to find a synonym to express their excitement and gratitude to have you here. It's just the dollar signs are just turning over in my head right now. It's so great to have your experience, though, and your leadership. And as everybody's alluded to, you know, we really appreciate your presence here. I think that, you know, anytime we have a position open up in Mason, it brings out the best in all of the candidates, both within our district and outside of our district, and it shows how much talent there is internally, especially, as well as out there in the world. That it's a validation for us as a board and us as a district for the work that we're doing, that people, you know, pay attention and they take notice when there is an opportunity to join the team here. So we are grateful for your willingness to go through that thorough process, and we're excited for you to hit the ground running here with us. I want to also say thank you to whoever put together today and tonight's program. That was definitely caught. I know I'm not the only one that caught us a little bit off guard there, but that was a fun. That'll be a fun memory to carry forward. You know, you don't. None of these seats are promised beyond the terms that we're elected to, and I am always grateful for the memories and the things that we're able to contribute to and to carry with us, carry forward, you know, regardless of how long we're lucky enough to serve here and to take with us. So I appreciate that, and just it reminded me, I was fortunate enough to be invited to speak in a class earlier this week on debate and rhetoric and logic, and always wanting to seize those opportunities, because I don't know how long it'll be that my comments continue to be excited to have Dad come into class and want to, you know, show off the stories and things that he tells. But that video there was a reminder of the pride that our families have, and the sacrifice that they also get to contribute to our being on this board. So very much appreciate the family support and the love. So yeah, that's all for me tonight.
Thank you, Charles. Mrs. Yingling?
We've been on a first name basis.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Connie.
I am humbled every January when we talk about Board Appreciation Month. We do love our jobs. We do love working with each other, and there are things that we haven't always agreed on, but we really, I have to say, with the board members that I've worked with through the years, they have truly been, they've been here for the right reasons, and that's really the key to the whole thing. You work together for a common goal, and you support your community. We also couldn't have done a lot of the things, or any of the things that we've done, without the staff and community that also supports us. So for some reason, I'm feeling a little more blessed tonight to be on this board. I get to welcome Dr. Blessing and her family. We are very happy to have you with us. We've heard nothing but fantastic things about you. Looking forward to meeting with you, and I'm sure any board member, I'm not speaking out of turn, be very happy to have a cup of coffee and just chat for a bit and get to know you just a little bit. That would be fun. I would like to add one comment to the bus driver tonight, the wayfinding moment. It was great. I felt it to be very true to our school district, but I notice bus drivers, and have for years on the road, our bus drivers, they really do have their minds on the kids. They're very friendly. They're alert to the other drivers. Once I stopped at a stop sign and a bus was coming this way, and I was fiddling with a kid or a dog or something in the car, and I just motioned to the bus driver to go ahead. I wasn't going anywhere. And she stops, opens her windows. Are you all right? She didn't know who I was. They handle themselves so well. And that's some training that is directly from the head of their department, that branch of Mason. That's thanks to you, Todd. So, yeah, it's a good place to serve for sure. That's all I have.
Thank you, Connie. Desiree, if you make the blessing pun, then we're just, we'll just have to keep it going. So, over to you.
Thanks, Ian. I have heard so many wonderful things about you. Just glowing recommendation from our administrative team. And I know the tests they put you through, so the fact that you're still sitting here speaks volumes. And I wholeheartedly believe it's true. When you go to a new school and work or wherever, the team is so important to your job and satisfaction and accomplishing what you want to accomplish. And you're going to love this team. You are going to have fun, be challenged, just the bonds that you're going, these are just fantastic people. And we are so thrilled that you chose
Good job,
to
Debbie.
join our team, truly.
She's more versatile than the rest of us.
Human thesaurus.
And thank you for School Board Appreciation. It is very humbling and kind of embarrassing, but I feel blessed to work with you. Oh, I did.
Could have ended it there.
I truly do, though. I mean, and I mean every word I say. You are such a fantastic team, and the team to me is the heart and soul of what we accomplish together. So, thank you.
Thank you, Desiree. Matt?
Yeah, Dr. Blessing, I promise it's not a hazing that everybody's making puns about your name. I just wanted to say again, welcome to the district. We're really excited to have you, and wanted to thank anybody who threw their hat in the ring and went through the rigorous process to be considered for that position. We would have been really, in a great place with any number of them, and they would have brought their own unique skill set. And what we're excited about with your skill set and your experience is that your experience in the superintendent role will allow you to do things and see things about relationship building and so many things that will suit that role and what we need to do with our district. While we talk about our legacy work, you'll understand how we need to work through that and how that impacts sort of the more bread and butter HR things that we do on a day-to-day basis. So we're just really excited and so thankful and grateful to have you joining the team, and you are gonna have a blast. As for our bus drivers, I wanted to recognize Mr. Dan. I've said it a lot of times that our bus drivers start and end each of our comments days. And it is such an amazing gift that we have in Mason, that we have bus drivers who take that responsibility to heart and thrive in it and know that is something that can bring them joy. They're not just driving our kids to school and home. I think back to COVID when we had the buses dressed up. I mean, of all the departments, of all the ways that people stepped up during COVID, our bus drivers, that's one of the lasting legacies for me, is how they stepped up to see how they could make an experience for our students. So, and I know my two sons, they just about every day they say something that brought them joy about their experience with Mr. Scott, their bus driver. So just want to thank our bus drivers for all that they do. Thank you for the video. It is a good reminder that our families all serve too, and I tell my kids that when I made the decision to run again, that we were serving as a family, and I wanted to make sure that they were all on board with that. And it's not just as we're walking into events, and I remind them, people are going to know you, so keep your nose clean. But it is a really good reminder of the why. And Christine, thank you for bringing up the word joy and commenting on that, because I think that's part of why it's so uncomfortable for us to be recognized, because we do this not for the recognition, but we do it because it's important work that we want to be a part of, but we do it also because it does bring us so much joy. And I'm so glad that that comes across, because we all do feel joy, and we all know how lucky we are to serve in this role and to serve this amazing district. So thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Blessings are often about timing. And so it was the perfect opportunity to bring you and your family to Mason, Dr. Blessing, and we're so excited to support you in this journey in any way to help you be successful, because when you're successful, we all succeed. We really believe that. You've got 3 musketeers on the board, so we believe, you know, all for one and one for all. And to echo Matt's sentiments about all those that applied and went through the interview process, thank you. Those interviews help make us better, they help make you better, and they open our eyes to things and opportunities and potentials that we maybe didn't see before. So there's always blessings that can come out of that. So, you know, we're grateful to serve in this district. I'm glad that again, you said a lot of what I wanted to say, that this is
The one bad thing about it being in the
it's
center.
okay. It means I can be brief. It's a vibe. I do think that when you get 5 elected people to sit and try to do work as one, it can go a myriad of ways, and we have all found commonality, joy, friendship, laughter, passion, and purpose in the work. I think it is encapsulated by Mr. Dan and the spirit that he brings to his job. It's not just, you know, I got to drive the bus and do so safely. It's how can I give a piece of myself to this? How can I show and express who I am through what I'm doing? And so there's a phrase that you often hear in Mason. It's called the work. We're doing the work. The work continues, and it often goes undefined. And what you see is people doing ordinary things extraordinarily, and doing it with a mindset of serving others, and in turn put themselves in position to receive a blessing. And so we continue the work of prioritizing every student every day. And, you know, I think, you know, this is School Board Appreciation Month, but we're really grateful because by the time it gets to us, it has touched so many hands that really care. The committees that we all serve on, there's 10 superintendent committees. When you see the work that's done in student achievement or business advisory, and you see that we're highlighting what our students are doing, we're listening to what our students are needing, and we're moving, and you guys put that in front of us with a plan. It makes our jobs very, very, very easy. And so while I'm appreciative to serve, I'm grateful I'm doing it here. There's a lot of focus on public school in general, and I would invite whomever from wherever, and I know that there are other districts that have come to visit us to look at how we do what we do. This is what public school can be. I mean, we have a gift that was printed on a 3D printer with a teacher who taught our students how to solder. We just approved a cybersecurity class that's going to lead to a cybersecurity certificate. So if our students want to go into that without any, you know, further education from high school, they can be hired. Mm-hmm. It is what public school can be. And so when we say the work continues, that means we are committed to every student every day and every person doing the ordinary job extraordinarily and serving others. So I'm just excited and grateful to the 4 of you. And I think that's all. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.